Hello, and welcome back to Love is Patient 444. I am going to do a reading. It says, feel your feelings. Let me turn it that way. Now, I have to tell you, I do my absolute best to stay away from what you in the twin flame world might know as the karmic, right? I don't really like that word because when I have pulled cards on the third party person here, it is never a joyous occasion. I am never happy to see what the cards are showing me. They're in a very difficult spot. I am actually sympathetic to them. Now, I know that might seem weird, right? Because we, for some reason want to begrudge the person our person is with. But the truth is, they are there to show them lessons that would be best served with them. Because when that connection fails, better it be with them than with you. That's how I see it. So I feel, that the karmic person, in a way, is a blessing. Trust me. I'm surprised I'm saying it. But the fact is, they are a blessing. They are the buffer. They are taking the hits, the cuts, the bruises. They're taking it, not you. You're experiencing your own pain, yes, your own disappointment, whatever. But that's stuff you have to work through because you do have expectations, right? But I'm so very thankful and thrilled that she and all of her stuff is standing where I would have been, and that I will get the fruits of their labor. Does that sound bad? Does that mean to say? I'm sorry. I got to be authentic. I look forward to getting a fully baked divine masculine coming my way. I do. So let him stay there and cook. Let him cook. And then when he's finished cooking, as I continue to cook, right? Then come on back, baby. Come on back. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to pull a quick reading to understand where the divine masculine is on his journey and his perspective with regards to his teacher. That's what we're going to call them. We're going to call them teachers because she is teaching him a hell of a lot. Okay. So it says here, you are the yin to my yang. And I know if you read this, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, they're meant to be together. But yes, in some respects they are. Because as I said, she is the teacher. She is teaching him what he needs to learn and know. So let's unpack this and let's see what this is about. Okay. All right. Which cards do I want to take? I know. Okay. So these are the Heal Yourself cards. And the reason they are with their teacher right now, aka karmic, so hate the word, because I honestly believe we're all karmics at one point or another, and we should not sit up here feeling so high and mighty and demure and sweet and lovely, thinking that we have not ever done anything that has been hurtful or we haven't taught lessons in a certain way. So what is his karmic teacher showing him right now that he feels that she is complimenting him? And when I say complimenting, I don't mean complimenting the light energy, right? She's complimenting shadows. She's complimenting him on things that he needs to work on, things that he needs to heal and become more aware of within. So 1 or 2 cards, please. 1 or 2 cards, God, please, to look at that. Da, da, da. Jeez, yeah. God. This is not... You see, this is what I mean by when I see... when I pull the cards on the person that they're with, it is never like this. I wouldn't want this. I would not want this. Oh my God. All right, let me tell you what I'm going on about here, right? Because you must be like, what is it? Okay. The first one is self-sabotage. Can you see that? That's the first one. Self-sabotage. This person is... Look at her eyes. I hope the glare is not too much. Look at her eyes. She is absent, right? Absent. Nowhere near being present in this connection. That is your divine counterpart right now. They're in the situation. They're recognizing how... I don't like that glare. I think it's the window. They're recognizing how their feelings of unworthiness and being less than have caused them to make a decision where they chose, but whether we want to say they chose a connection, you want to say that it was a contract that we agreed to before we reached on the earth, there was something in your divine counterpart that was drawing them to this person. And that's because they share an energy of self-sabotage. They share an energy of things might be going well for them, and for whatever reason, they decide that they're not good enough for it, they're not worthy, nothing good ever happens for them, to them. There's so much death and destructive energy. It's almost like they are captive. They're captive. And perhaps even terrified to make change. And it was your divine counterpart, the unawakened one, who wanted things to be comfortable, wanted things to be easy, didn't want to have to dig deep, reach, put in any effort. And now they're feeling trapped, but they feel trapped not necessarily because of what the other person has done, although they've mirrored it for them in a very, very effective way. It's because of their mindset and the stories that they tell themselves and the beliefs that they have. They have been misguided. And I don't mean by their karmic teacher. I mean they deceived themselves into believing whatever. Whether the grass was greener, the drinks were stronger, the DJ was better, whatever it was that they thought they were getting over there is not what they're getting. And the mirror is being turned on them to see that, wow, I decided to be here because of my feelings of unworthiness, right? My feelings of unworthiness. And oftentimes there are cross watchers. So if you are the unawakened energy and you know that you self-sabotage, or even if you're not sure, ask yourself about your relationships and why they ended. Ask yourself about the jobs that you've had and why you either quit them or why you were fired. Ask yourself about your financial situation. And are you always in a gym? Are you always hemmed up? Is there always a problem? Is there never enough money? Like, what is going on? What are the actions that you're taking? What are the things that you are thinking that are causing you to cause harm to yourself? Because that's what it is. Self-sabotage is self-harm, right? Look at the patterns in your life and see where you are not fulfilled. So that's your homework, unawakened, divine masculine, subconscious energy, cross-watcher. You know that you're with a karmic teacher who's highlighting for you the energy of self-sabotage that's been in your life. And you can change this, by the way. There's beauty on the other side of this fear and this entrapment. Okay? And that is how your karmic teacher is the yin to your yang. It's being highlighted for you, full blown, full blown. Okay, the next card was hole in your soul. Okay? And so this is 36. I should have done that. This is number 2. 2 is a high priestess. There's something hidden, something not being revealed. And so it looks like people are moving and doing and shaking, but they're really self-sabotaging, because underneath all the masks and how they appear to you, there's really a feeling, a sense of unworthiness, a lack of self-trust, and a questioning of, are they deserving of what it is that they're hoping to attain and achieve. Okay? All right. So let's move on to hole in the soul. What is that? That's a belt. So the other two, I mean, I can't say for sure, but these two skeletons kind of reminded me of men. And this one seems to be, I feel like an angel. This one has wings. And one of the reasons why they were drawn to their karmic teacher, to the third party, to whoever it is that they're connected to right now. And understand, third party karmic teacher is not always a person. But I have a really strong instance in this reading that we are talking about another individual, okay? I want to be clear about that. Your jobs, your financial situations, other relationships that you have that are platonic can also highlight and identify this for the masculine. But I really feel that in this particular reading, we are talking about the person that they're with and how they are showing up and reflecting to them the areas that need healing. And so this hole in the soul keeps interrupting. It has a similar energy to self-sabotage, right? But the self-sabotage in a way is something you do to yourself. The hole in your soul is because someone put it there. They put it there. And you constantly, or not you, your divine counterpart is constantly feeling empty and unfulfilled. And I also feel in a way inauthentic because a piece of them is missing. They're unsure as to exactly who they are. They're operating, they are present. I don't want to say damaged. It's not the kind of language I want to convey. What is that? Is that stitches on her head? I think she has stitches on her head. Do you see that? It's blurry. She has stitches on her head. They were drawn to this person because they were allowed to play out their childhood issues. Perhaps this person was very mothering to them, Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just got a revelation. It was a personal one. Hold on a second. You know, wow. Okay. My divine masculine was adopted by a family member, and the mother was not very involved. And what the mom would do is that every so often, she would send them gifts. She would, put a package together and send them whatever expensive clothing or whatever it was to them. Wow. As a way to show, that she loved and cared for her son. It has now just hit me that his karmic teacher would do the same thing, vacations, cars, property, of course, a higher scale than what mom was doing, because he identifies material items as ways to show love, even though I would feel that they're absent. And so because that's how he was shown love, he didn't need the things. He needed the presence and the love of his mother. But her way of showing it was by buying him clothes. Okay, so this is dated, right? Like Jordache jeans, okay? And Adidas shoes. Like, you got to understand, like, we're going back here. Those were the things that were clothes from Stitches. Do you remember Stitches? Okay. From way back then. Because I will tell you, I did not buy him this, that, and the other, because my belief, and that, honestly, it's still my belief that I show you love with time, by listening to you, cooking for you, taking care of you, conveying my love to you verbally, and not because I feel I need to do it through material items. And that is one of the things that drew him to her. At the same time, those material things can become trappings. They can. Because understand, this is not where they want to be. They don't want to be in this energy of self-sabotage and feeling that they have a hole in their soul. But because they self-sabotage due to the hole they have in their soul, they put themselves in entrapments and situations that reinforce, I'm not worthy. That reinforce, I'm less than, I'm missing something. When the truth is, they're not. What's missing here is the light. What's missing here is understanding that we all have moments where we feel less than, but we can fill our own buckets. Wow. I just want to add one more thing. So, I would see them on social media, and I rarely look. I have to tell you, I rarely look. And they'd be posing up a storm on the plane with their hat, showing their meals in Italy and all this shit. And I was just like, this is so phony. Like, I knew watching it that it was phony. So what I'm saying to you is this. If you see your person showboating and trying to look all fly and cool and life is great and all of that, this is what's really going on underneath all of that. Just so that you know, okay? That's what's going on underneath all of that. It's for appearance sake. It's for appearance sake. They're putting on the mask. What they need to do is take time to discover who they truly are, what they truly want, what they truly need, and then make moves to align themselves authentically with who they are. Okay? Wow. Let's... Okay, so I might have to pull on this book because I don't use this deck often. This is my Mother Wisdom deck. This was a very hard deck to get as well. I gotta tell you, gotta love Amazon.com. We've got Amazon.ca up here, but once in a while, I get a real gem out there. A real gem. Okay. So this is the Mother Wisdom deck, and I'm just asking for a bit more clarity that will help us to understand what the Divine Masculine is realizing in his relationship with his teacher, with the lesson giver. Okay, so what does it say? This says earth honoring, and it's Pachamama. Okay, it's purple. Okay, what it says here, make sure you can see it. This is a beautiful card though. It's so beautiful. All the colors they're so, I don't know, peaceful. So this is Pachamama, which is earth honoring, and the shadow energy here is disregard. Wow. So there's a quote here by Terry Tempest Williams, and it says, our kinship with earth must be maintained. Otherwise, we will find ourselves trapped in the center of our own paved over souls with no way out. Good Lord. Aye. So this comes from the indigenous people, and they're asking the masculine to be reminded that she lives within and that we are inseparable. So if you're among the trees, the rivers, the lakes, there's a call coming toward you, asking you to awaken. And so oftentimes our days are filled with supermarket trips, cell phones, TV shows, living a very busy life, and not discovering the good outside of us, because this person is trapped. And so it's about saving yourself, and that earth begins at home. Earth begins by learning to take care of yourself and hone in on the basics. It's about respect and hearing the call. It's saying the call of the wild. I interpret that to be your intuition. Listening to your discernment and finding a special place where you can be alone with your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. And that this is a place where you can turn when you are stuck in the human mire. So what she's saying here is this person feels that they have a hole in their soul and they practice self-sabotage. And what they need to do is get back to nature. Get back to the basics. Get back to prayer. That when they're feeling disrespected or lost, or that energy is coming up for them, that what they need to do is dial it back and go within and start to focus on the small things, the real things, the tangible things, which are the things that reside inside, because that's where the abundance and the wealth is. It's not external of you. Like when they say, find your dream, find your passion, and they send you on these trips and you're looking here and there and you're reading this book, that book. No, honey. It is within. It is within. And look at this. When Pachamama, which is the earth. When the earth feels disrespected, she causes earthquakes, illnesses, and crop failure. So when they feel less than and unworthy, to me, they speak negatively, they self-sabotage, they might party too much, drink, alcohol, sex, too much shopping. They might get high to distance themselves from the emotions that they're feeling. They participate in self-destructive behaviors because they're feeling disrespected and less than and incomplete on the inside. So this is something that's important for you to know, so that when you do pray for your counterpart, you know what to pray for. You can be specific when you're lifting up their name. Pray that they find ways to fill the hole that they feel, that they find a way to mend, that they learn that they are valuable and that they don't have to self-sabotage. And because you are connected, the way in which you think about your person affects them. It affects them. Look, we just had the other reading where we talked about the divine feminine feeling that she's so burdened, right? He's feeling burdened as well. You are on the path because you don't get muscles if you don't lift weights, right? It doesn't work that way. You need the tension, you need the stress, you need the counterpull in order for things to pan out. I'm going to... Okay, I have another deck here. I've got to run, but I'm going to do this. Oops, don't bend my cards. Let's close that. This is my inner child cards because I think that's where a lot of the self-sabotage and hole in the soul energy comes from. Okay, what's this? Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords. I feel like there's a dragon here, right? There's a dragon here in the center. And it seems to me what's happening is that this knight, right, is trying to encapsulate the dragon that's been haunting and taunting them. They are trying to put this dragon in its place. So I'm going to read to you the Ten of Swords here from the inner child thing. So it's talking about a triumph and that liberation is in the air. That's beautiful because we want them to be liberated from this self-sabotage, negative energy. The fully knighted youth in this card has come to accept his own inner power, which happened in the Nine of Swords, because the dragon was holding the boy captive in the Nine of Swords. But here, he's recognizing that he's integrating his power and the courage he needs to overcome the terror and the oppression. As he inserts the 10 sword into the ground, a circle is formed around the dragon, and it's signifying that he's attained a unity of mind, spirit, and matter. Your divine counterpart is now free to explore and start a new cycle of conscious awareness. They've worked very hard to overcome these mental blocks and tensions. It's about cleansing the mind of negative thoughts because they are in the process. If they haven't done it already, they are definitely in the process of clearing out these thoughts, of clearing out the dragon because they faced it. They're now preparing themselves for a new round of adventures. They will know what to do because they've had all this experience, right? Isn't this beautiful? Isn't it beautiful how these readings come together? It just, it still blows my mind. It excites me, right? So you might say, well, you've only had your channel for a few days. Yes, but I've been reading for a bit, right? So this just, This just signifies, like, we started off, let me just back up because I want to bring this to a close, okay? We started off with the card, you're the yin to my yang, right? And I was like, huh? The karmic is the yin to his yang, but we got to go deep. And what is it? They connect because there's self-sabotage in a hole in their soul, and he is seeing that mirrored in him. And she is seeing that mirrored in her. Let me say that again. He sees it in her and she sees it in him, okay? They see where there's a depletion. And when they need to reconnect and get grounded, they need to go out into nature. And when they are feeling funky and upset on the inside, they are like an earthquake, a volcano. They are erupting. They are causing a mess all over the place. And their effect is far wide and far reaching. But if they want to get centered, get grounded, get quiet, get calm, they need to go out into that same nature and appreciate it and have gratitude, similar to the other reading that I just did. And so then in here is that Nine of Swords energy, this being trapped and encircled by the dragon, right? But they are now on their way out. They're on their way to freedom. These mental blocks and the tension, which have been so difficult for them to overcome, they're making their way through because they have faced the dragon. So they're going to use their wisdom and the experience from the past. They're going to learn to nurture themselves, and they're learning how to calm themselves and get back to center quicker than before. They're becoming more intuitive, and they're recognizing that their thoughts are powerful. And that they have to infuse kindness and sympathy for themselves and understanding and patience. And for that, we should be proud of them. And this is what I mean. Did you want to be the person that had to go through, I don't know how many examples of the sabotage in the hole in the soul? Is that the job that you wanted? Honestly, let her mix the ingredients. Let her bake that cake. And then when it's done, you send my divine to me. That's okay. You've got to understand that. Instead of cursing and bemoaning and why aren't they here and why not and this, that, and the other, realize that there is blessing in this because you too now have time to go and look after yourself and care for yourself. So I'm going to do another reading, and this time we're going to focus on the divine feminine, but I do have to run out. I have an appointment, but I will be back, and I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that this gave you some insight, right? I mean, when you connect with your divine person, do you want it to be because you both practice self-sabotage and you're both feeling inadequate? Or do you want to come from a place where you are in control of yourself? Do you want to come from a place of wholeness? And then this way, you will properly be the yin to one another's yang. I thank you so much for listening to this reading. It's been a pleasure and an honor to do this for you and for me to catch an insight along with it. Like, unexpected blessing. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. Wow. Listen, until next time, live in the now and make today the best possible day that you can. Honestly, life is so good. It is so good. See you later.